And we're live, just two of us again this week.
We just can't have
Nathan,
three people.
We can't, not anymore. We're a twosome, just combinations of two every week. Who are you going to get? Collect them all. Anyway.
Scroll the dice.
Nathan. Yeah. Nathan, it's a voting system. Vote for the two people you want each week, and those people will show up on the show.
Don't do that because people will start feeling sad.
That's true. Everyone loves you two, not me. Anyway, Nathan has a sore throat. He got a couple days back. Otherwise, we would have been doing a show, him and I, yesterday. And then you weren't available yesterday, so schedules, again, screwed up. But hopefully next week we will solidify down the new time slot of Monday nights for this show. But right now...
Also, Monday nights is probably going to be when the show is from here on out. So.
That's I literally just said that, but no, that's good.
Just in case we hadn't pointed out before, it sounded like you were saying it like we'd mentioned it before. So it's like just in case you weren't sure.
Okay. Well, in case people haven't heard, hey, Monday nights is probably when we're going to be doing the live shows for Top Down Perspective. So you'll be looking at like Tuesday evenings for when the audio goes live on iTunes and whatnot. But yeah, we have so much to talk about. So this is the Top Down Perspective. I'm the host this week, Sean Booker. I'm joined by who?
John Wheeler, who is back from PAX.
Wheeler. Right. Hey, speaking of PAX, now we want to know how your Thursday night went, right? Night before PAX. I'm going to kind of, based on what I've seen, I'm going to do a quick summary, and then I want you to break it down. The audience is clamoring to know how your Thursday was. So from what I gathered, you had a nice, peaceful flight all the way to Boston. No connecting. It was just there. It was short. You got some free food.
That was beautiful. It was majestic. Loved it. Every moment of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went, right? It was like nothing. Yeah, just perfect trip.
Nothing went wrong at all. It was great.
Awesome. That'll do it for the PAX show. All right, let's hear it. Everyone is dying to know again. Let's go. Let's do it.
So here is how my PAX trip went. Starts technically Wednesday night because I was packing up for the panel and still working on it. Get 2 hours of sleep. Wake up Thursday morning, 7 o'clock-ish. Get to the airport about 8 o'clock. So I'm running on about 2 hours of sleep, and my flight's supposed to leave at 9. Get through security just fine, and they say, oh, there's
9 or 9 in the morning?
9 a.m.
Okay, 9 a.m. on Thursday. All right.
So now we know, like, okay, the flight's going to be delayed slightly because there's some technical issue they announced. So we wait for like half hour. Then they delay it again another hour, so now it's 10 o'clock. Then they delay for 2 hours till noon. So they say, all right, sorry for the delay. We're going to give everyone $10 meal tickets, so feel free to go get food in the airport while you're here if you're hungry. And come back at noon, and we'll have we'll find out when we're leaving.
All right, what'd you eat? I'm curious. What'd you go for?
I went to Chili's, because apparently there's a Chili's in the airport.
Were you actually able to spend under $10, or did you have to pocket your own money?
I had to pay like $5 out of my own pocket.
I assumed so. Chili's is kind of on the higher price point.
Pretty much everything in the airport was above $10.
Oh, so that's how they get you. I see. All right.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, after 10, a friend of mine is in the airport who's also going to PAX East. So we just happen to be in the same area, so I just walk over and hang out with him for a bit. His flight, leaving with the same airline, is also going to the same place, going Toronto, then going to Boston. Left at 10:30, 10:45-ish, or that's when I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And had no delays, just went on perfectly fine without a hitch. So after walking away from his gate, I look up at the departure sign and see that it now says that the plane is leaving at 4:20 p.m. So I run back to the gate and find out, yes, the plane has been deemed unflyable because they found a second tech issue with it. So
Do you know what the issues with it were?
No, they didn't say. They just said there were mechanical issues and they had to be dealt with, and that after trying to work on the second issue, the plane was unflyable. So now they say they're flying a plane out from Vancouver for us, and then that's the plane we'll be taking around 4 o'clock. I talked to the lady there. They say, yeah, if you're going to fly out, then don't worry, stick on this flight. You've obviously missed. I missed my connecting flight in Boston, or to Boston at this point in Toronto, because it was supposed to be at 3 o'clock.
Right.
So they're like, okay, don't worry, we'll just get you to stay overnight in Toronto. We'll give you a free hotel room, and then in the morning you can go in and get a free flight.
I've done that before.
Yeah,
I've
so
had that happen.
All right, fine. I asked her, like, are there any other options? Are there any other flights or, like, airlines that you can fly? And I was like, no, nothing really that'll work for you right now. This is your best option. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I go work on the panel for a couple hours in the in the airport, and then go back
on your laptop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then go back to the gate around, I think, 3:30ish, to find out that the gate is now loading people for Tokyo.
And so I mentioned this on Twitter. Hey, Tokyo's awesome, right? So like,
it's true.
To be fair, like, I'd rather go to Tokyo than Toronto. Just saying.
So I was confused, like, why did this change? All right.
So did you sneak onto that plane and was like, all right, go to Tokyo?
Should have tried at this rate. Should have tried. Would have been the better option. So I talked to the people. I was like, hey, where's the Toronto flight? It's like, oh, if you're looking for that, go to gate 24. So I walk over to 24, but in the process, I see a departure sign that says that I'm supposed to be at gate 16. So now I'm extremely confused. So I go to 24 anyways. I see a bunch of people that were waiting for the flight earlier that day. We wait around for a bit, and then eventually someone from the airline shows up and says, hey, guys, we don't know when you guys are leaving, and we don't know from what gate. So awesome. we have to get another plane for you guys, because the plane you guys were supposed to fly out on was commandeered for a flight to Tokyo. So the plane that was at our original gate was supposed to be our plane, but we got bumped. So now it's like, okay, we'll probably get you guys going out of here around 6 p.m.
Okay, so you're looking at, like, what is this, 9 hours late now?
This is, 9 or 10 hours at this point. Keep them, So they gave us $20 in meal vouchers. I go get more food.
Did you go back to Chili's?
No, I went to the Great Canadian Bagel. They had I picked up a nice panini.
I have never heard of the Great Canadian Bagel.
Well, it exists.
And
it's in our airport.
Maybe it exists only in airports. That's why I don't know it.
No, I'm pretty sure they're in, like, some malls around town too. But
I'm not a big bagel guy, so that would,
Fair enough. But the food was good. So
sure.
I go back to the gate. Now we find out we're boarding at about 6:20, but people are actually boarding the plane. So we get on the plane, and it's a gigantic plane. It's like an international flight. Like, you know how first class is like all these lie-down seats, and they've got, like, they're angled weird. They've got, like, this pop-out TVs and everything, and then, like, in the actual, like, coach, there's, like, rows of 3 to 3 seats like that. It's one of those gigantic planes.
Oh, so it's got the middle section. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Have you ever been on a double-decker plane?
No, never.
I've done that.
Was that on your flight to where? Tokyo?
No, that was on my flight to Australia.
My bad. I'm sorry. You've been around the world. How dare.
Those planes are gigantic.
So we get on the plane, and everyone's loaded in about 6:30. So then we wait about 20 minutes, and then we get an announcement saying, sorry for the delay, folks. People's luggage for the people who originally were supposed to be on this flight but now are not was loaded onto the plane, so now we have to remove it all.
So the people that had the plane before you guys took it?
No, people who were supposed to be on our original flight to Toronto but just didn't show up or took, like, a different flight.
Okay.
So now we have to wait for them to unload it. And then after it's unloaded, we wait. And we wait. And then suddenly all the power of the plane turns off. Like, all the TVs turn off, all, like, the air conditioning turns off. It just becomes, like, super quiet for, like, a minute. And then everything turns back on.
It just got super dark?
Yeah.
Was the floor lights at least on, like the emergency lights?
Yeah, like, there was still some light, but it was just like...
Okay, so they were at least using emergency power.
Yeah, so they say, sorry, we just had to reboot everything.
That's weird. What a weird thing.
Really, yeah, that's all I said. Like, we had to just reboot things to fix some issues, so sorry.
That's the last thing I want to hear before going on a plane. Just give it a sec, we're just going to reboot the plane. Okay.
Pretty much. So it was just so weird. So eventually, like, the plane finally starts moving. This is now 7:30, so we've been on the plane for an hour.
Now I'm just half expecting it's like, we were just about to take off when they slammed on the brakes.
Kind of, because when we were backing out, the power kept cutting out 3 times. Yes. So everyone in the plane's like, "Are we gonna be okay?" And that's when we found out this was.
Die. Is this just is this Airplane 3?
This is when we found out this was technically the plane we were supposed to have in the first place. It took so long they actually
The
had
Tokyo plane is back?
No, this is the plane we were supposed to take back at 9 a.m. They just had enough time to repair everything.
The mechanical problem.
Yeah, they just had enough time to fix it.
Okay.
So now we're just like, all right, it's rough going, but we finally take off 7:30. At this point, I've almost been at the airport for 12 hours in my own hometown. So we get going in the air. The flight itself is fine, except I wanted to work on the panel while I was on the plane, and the power outlet couldn't support my laptop. It just kept cutting out.
And you just didn't have enough reserve battery?
No. I went as long as I could, and then I just turned it off and slept.
It's been a bit since I've been on Air Canada. Do they allow like electronics to be on when taking off now, like small electronics?
I think that's only American Airlines at the moment.
Yeah, because when I took American Airlines to come back like a month ago or whenever it was,
yep,
there was like the new introduction. And it was like you can keep small electronic devices on, but larger ones, and I think they were talking about like laptops.
Yeah,
had to be closed or whatever. But we could like keep our iPads out or stuff like that.
Yeah. So as far as I'm aware of, only American Airlines is doing that so far.
Okay.
So we finally get to Toronto about 1 a.m. Keep in mind I was supposed to be there 1 p.m. So we walk up to the gate.
This is now Friday morning. It's opening day of PAX.
Yeah. So they give everyone that was supposed to have connecting flights, they give them a hotel voucher, they give them a ticket to a new plane, and another meal coupon.
How much was this one worth?
$10.
Where'd you go?
Swiss Chalet, because apparently there was a 24-hour Swiss Chalet in the airport.
Can you get something for under $10 at Swiss Chalet?
No.
I didn't think so. What did you end up spending at Swiss Chalet?
I think I paid $15 again.
Again? Okay, so $5.
Yeah.
What hotel did they set you up in? Was it anything nice?
I don't know, because I didn't bother taking it, because my flight required me to be at security at 4:30.
Oh, you just hung out in the airport.
Yeah, so I hung out in the airport for 3 hours, which apparently was the smart play, because I bumped into the same guy who gave us our tickets and hotel vouchers earlier, or like a little after that. And he's like, what hotel are you going to? Like, I'm just going to stay here. It's like, oh, it's a good thing you're not going to a hotel, because a bunch of people got turned away from the hotels.
Okay, so my mind went, oh man, good thing you didn't go there. Turns out it just burned down, and the plane is now half empty.
No, it's just people were going to the hotels, and then they were just getting turned away. So.
Oh, that's the best. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you sleep at the airport?
No, I stayed up the whole time.
So I've also done that. Coincidentally, this is the every flight I was referencing was all this Australia one where I had to go to a hotel and whatnot. But I remember when we had a layover in New Zealand because of a huge plane screw up, and we had to sleep at the airport like overnight because it was significant length, and we were so tired after just being jerked around.
Yeah, no.
Craziest part though was a lady, like, it was my mom, my sister, and I. You know, we were all sleeping on separate benches. A lady actually came up to my mom and woke her up to ask where a gate was.
What the fuck?
Like, we are clearly like horizontal along a bench sleeping. It's like 2 a.m. The area is dark. Like, we found a gate or a section of the airport that was like, clearly this is not going to get used till the morning. We can kind of sleep in the dark here. Someone comes over. Do you know where this gate is? Can you wake up for a second? I have a question.
I would have like punched him at that point.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. So it's 4:30 on Friday morning. You're in Toronto.
Yep. I've been working on the panel for a couple hours. Ate some food. Stayed up. Went over to the gate for connections to the U.S. It's not open.
All right.
So I wait there, and a bunch of the people from our original flight show up. We start talking about everything that's been going on.
You're all buddies now.
Ish. Yeah. We all like
veterans. You recognize each other.
So it finally opens at 5:30.
All right.
So at this
what time is the plane supposed to leave?
Boarding starts at 6:15, and I believe the flight leaves at about 6:30.
All right.
So I've got about an hour at this point to go through U.S. Customs. I'm like, oh great, but at least it's early morning. Go to scan our boarding pass, because in the Pearson Airport in Toronto, they auto-transfer your luggage. You don't need to grab it if you're going international.
Sure. Okay.
But I scan my boarding pass and it says, go see a customer service representative. Go over to customer service representative. I'm sorry, we've lost your luggage.
Awesome. That happened to me as well.
But that happened for everyone on our flight that had a connection.
Right.
So they're like, all right, sir, hang on, we'll find it. Like, just give us your pass and we'll like search. It's probably been held aside because of everyone who was delayed. So I wait there, hand my pass. Eventually they get back to me and find my luggage. The problem is They gave away my boarding pass in the process.
What?
Because there was a group of people in front of me that were going to a different place, and they had been had the same issues roughly. So
was there ever a moment where you just moment of clarity? You're like, I'm on punked. Someone is punking me right now. Ashton Kutcher is gonna come out from around that corner and be like, "You just got punked, Proton John."
No, I had a moment of clarity where I'm like, I don't think I'm actually gonna make it to PAX. I think I'm just gonna be stuck in Toronto.
Home. Yeah. Okay.
So they gave those people my boarding pass by accident because they had just grouped them together by accident. They just printed me off a new pass. They printed me off new luggage passes because my luggage tickets were all on that pass. And I go get in line for U.S. Customs. Super short in line, so I'm like, all right, cool, I'll make it my plane, no problem. Go up to the lady at Customs, hand her my passport. Where are you going? Boston. What are you going for? A video game convention. What are you doing there?
Oh, this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part.
What are you doing there? I'm going to be presenting a panel. It's like, there's something up with your passport. Can you give me another piece of ID? What? Yeah, I don't like your picture on your passport's weird. I need another piece of photo ID. Okay, so I hand her my license. She's like, how long are you going for? 3 days. Why do you have 2 pieces of luggage? Because I'm presenting at a panel. What's in the suitcases? Video games. Why do you have video games with you? Because I'm presenting at a panel, and I need them for the panel. Are you going to sell the video games at the convention? No, they're for the panel. Well, how do I know that?
It'd be a pretty shitty panel, okay?
How do I know that you're not going to sell them? It's like, what? No, they're mine. They're for the panel. It's like, do you have any proof of this? Like, I don't have any documents on me. Like, I've done this trip every couple of years. It's like, why is this a problem now? Well, I guess they just didn't ask you these questions the last couple of years. So, do you have anything proving that you're doing this? Like, no, we just have my flight history from the past couple of years. Here's my business card. I don't want your business card. Okay. Are you?
I don't want your business card.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm trying to give you proof. Jesus.
I also just love. How do I know you're not going to sell these? What? How do I? This is great.
Why would you ask that? I was like, what's the relative value of the games you have there? I don't know, 400? Because it was my Xbox and a bunch of NES, SNES, and 64 games. So she just goes quiet for a couple minutes. I just stand there.
She wanted your games. She wanted to take them from you.
Clearly. She just starts scanning things on the computer. I guess tagging the luggage. And then she hands me my passport, my U.S. slip, and my ticket with a yellow envelope and says, have a nice flight. But she says it super shy, have a nice flight.
Oh man, what's in the envelope?
No, the envelope was what all my things were in, sorry.
Oh, I see.
So okay. I walk over to security, and they look at the envelope. It's like, you have a yellow envelope, sir. You have to go through secondary inspection. I was like, all right.
Did you get pat down?
No, didn't get pat down.
Okay. All right.
Walk into the room, hand all that stuff to someone. They say, go over, wait in the waiting area. We'll call your name when you're good to go.
Oh man, did someone steal one of the games? I'm gonna sneak this one out of here. He won't even notice.
Nothing like that, no.
Okay.
So I missed my flight. Air Canada comes in, gives me my luggage. It's like, here, hang on to this. And then 3 minutes later after they do that, which is 10 minutes after my flight leaves, the security guy finally calls me up. I'd been there waiting for 40 minutes at this point and couldn't use any electronics, so I had to wait in the room.
Man, how close isn't your flight soon?
No, I've already missed it at this point.
Again? You missed the 6 o'clock in the morning one?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I missed this one because I was stuck waiting in that room and I couldn't use any electronics or call anyone. I was just sat there waiting for them to call my name.
That's insane.
So the guy calls me up. He's like, hey, and it's then these usual customer routine. He's like, sir, where are you going? What are you going for? What's in your bags? Do you mind if we x-ray your bags? So they x-ray it. So I say, I'm like, yeah, there's video games in it for a panel I'm running. It's like, oh, okay, so you play video games a lot? It's like, yeah, it's kind of my job. So which is better, Xbox One or PS4? What?
Like it's a test.
Yeah, he's like,
another answer.
I've been looking at these these new consoles and I'm trying to figure out which one I want to buy. So which would you say is better in your opinion? So then we get in I don't know, a 5-minute discussion about what games he plays and then just what would be better for him. We give him a recommendation and then he's
what was the recommendation?
He likes MLB The Show, so by proxy PS4 because that's Sony franchise.
There you go.
So he's like, all right, man, have a nice flight. So he hands me my everything. I'm good to go. Walk over to Air Canada. They finally
if he had said Xbox One, he would have been like, "Ha! You know nothing about games. You're a liar. You're selling these. Get this guy."
Exactly. So I go to Air Canada. They give me my proper flight. Go through security. Fine. No problems there. Go down, grab some breakfast because at this point now my flight is 2 hours later than what it was supposed to be. So my flight leaves at like 8:30.
So, but they were still cool. Like, oh crap, we held you, so we'll give you another plane ticket.
They give me another plane ticket. This is now my third plane ticket, I guess, at this point.
Okay.
Because the first flight got majorly delayed, and then like the original flight to Boston, and then yeah.
This is crazy. We're 20 minutes into this show, and you're not at Boston.
I know. This is the stupid thing.
This is so great. All right, so what happened next?
So I go get breakfast, and then I'm starting to feel sick because at this point I've been up for like 2 hours.
And you've only been eating airport food.
Yeah, so I got 2 hours of sleep in me, and I've been up for like at least a full day at this point because it's now the time I was in the fucking airport in Calgary. I've been up for 24 hours.
Sure.
So I'm feeling sick. I go to the washroom, and I just like wait till I'm feeling better. Then I start heading towards the plane. I look at my watch, and I'm like, oh, it's like 8:25. Like my flight leaves at like 8:45, something like that. So I'm good to go. Walk towards the gate. I see like, hey, there's no one standing around there right now. What the hell? There should be people like is this, do we get delayed again? And I start walking up. I see flashing on the screen, final boarding call.
Oh man, you almost missed it.
So I run for it to get in. Yeah, apparently they just decided they wanted to leave early. So
I don't even. How can you do that?
I didn't hear an announcement, but like I felt like I should have because I had I had headphones on, but I only had one earbud in, so I could actually still hear announcements. But I didn't hear any boarding calls at all for my flight. Get on the plane. I just sleep the whole flight. Finally get to Boston. Get my luggage, no problem. Take a taxi straight to my hotel. So
you've missed day one of PAX.
It is now 11 a.m. on Friday.
Oh man, you could still go.
I have been up for a day and a half at this point.
Right, time to party.
I just say, F it. I go to my hotel room and sleep for 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
So I wake up 3:30, 4 o'clock, grab a shower, finally, start working on the panel again.
This seems like this panel was underdeveloped if you're working on it, if you have so much left to do.
No, I was supposed to be finishing it the day I got there.
Okay.
So I was supposed to be finishing it Thursday night.
Sure.
So, or on the flight there, which was the original plan, but then obviously
you couldn't plug it in.
So everything was fucked. So at that point, like it's like 5 o'clock now, and we have to do a tournament recording for one of my guys, the group channel that I'm going there with, at 7. So I'm like, all right, I just won't bother going to the convention center. I'll go straight to the tournament. It should take only like 3 hours to do the tournament. Took 6.
Great.
It is now 1:30 in the morning. And I'm just getting back to my hotel room.
This is the life of a professional video game player.
So I had to wait to get all the equipment I needed to do the final challenges for the tournament. I was supposed to get this Thursday so I could finish it, but I didn't, so I had to have my roommate, Reese, better known as Lukagen, actually like do the challenges for me, like get the games to the right point while I was finishing up like challenges and fixing some error that I made while I was programming things in a sleep-deprived state. So she eventually does get to go to sleep after she's helped me out because like the only things that are left are for me to do. She goes to bed. I think it was like 4 o'clock. I go to bed at 6 a.m.
This sounds like a great PAX convention.
Oh yeah, no, it was fucking fantastic. Fucking con of the year. Jesus. So I get up at 11, so that's 5 hours of sleep. Get everything together. Get to the convention. Although we get stuck in traffic on the way there, but thankfully we make it in time. So it's 2:15 now. I'm just picking up my pass. The panel starts at 2:30, so I'm just like running straight to the room there. We were told we were actually going to be able to get in a little bit earlier and have like 45 minutes to set up. We got 25.
Okay.
Meanwhile, my nerves are shot because I've had so many problems up to this point. I'm freaking out thinking the panel's going to break.
I saw your panel online. You seemed fine. Like I would say that.
Once setup got going, I started feeling better, but like when I got to the green room waiting for us to go in the room, I had to sit down because if I was standing up, I would have vomited. So that's how great it was.
So what you're saying is you're patient 0 for PAX POX this year.
Exactly.
All right. It's on air. Everyone knows it.
We get set up. We're a little bit late. We started like I think 3:10, something like that. But we kind of had to go short on setup because we didn't get to test anything. And when the first game comes up, it doesn't load. It was a Virtual Console game on the Wii. Wasn't loading.
This is during the panel or during test?
This is during the panel.
Oh, okay.
So we have We have a room of 1,200 people watching us, and we're being streamed.
It was Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Super Mario Kart, yeah.
1,200 people in the room watching us on stage. I don't know how many people were watching the stream. I think someone said about 2,000 maybe.
It was, on average it was around 2,000 unless something big was going on, then it would jump around 4.
So we had that many people watching us have scramble around trying to figure out these tech issues. It ends up, there was a hidden Wiimote that it turned on that none of us could find at all in any of the equipment that completely blocked us from loading.
Was it one of yours, or did someone just mess with you?
We brought 3, but the third one just wasn't there. It wasn't showing it was on.
Oh, okay.
So we reset everything. It finally works. We load the game. The rest of the panel goes smoothly, besides a couple of something awful guys showing up and giving me a slight heart attack thinking that I'm going to be trolled during the panel.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fine, thankfully. So we get the panel done. It's now 4:15. They gave us some extra time because we had to start late. And they say, all right, they're going to usher us into the room next door that we were using as a green room so we could do signings and chat with people that were in the audience.
So this is off air, so I didn't see this stuff.
Yeah. So we get over there 4:30, and then we leave there about 6:15.
It's a lot of signing.
Yeah. So about at this point, the expo hall's closed.
Great.
So this is day 2. I have not been on the expo hall floor yet. So I go to a pizza party for a bunch of people with the company, do a little
yeah, I was gonna say there's probably got to be some PAX after parties going on.
Yeah, did a bit of a meet and greet with some people, and then went to my roommate's panel, checked it out. It was a good time. I will also state right now, I need to thank Luca for keeping me sane because I'm pretty sure I would have gone fucking nuts by the end of the weekend if it had not been for her helping out with everything. So she updated the graphics on the panel program. She helped hand out the cards along with her friend Masay. She helped with the setting up the game challenges. It was just, I'm pretty sure I would have had a breakdown had she not been there. So thank you.
Yeah, this shit is redonk.
So we go to her panel. We have a good time, and we go back to the hotel room. It is now 1 a.m. So I just go straight to sleep. Decide I'm actually going to go see the expo hall on Sunday. This is now day 3.
Yeah, the convention that you flew here for.
But I got a text before I went to bed the other night saying, hey, there's a guy from USA Today who wants to do an interview with streamers. So would you want to talk to him? So I'm like, all right, sure.
Is it a text from your parent company?
No, it's actually from one of the guys who was in the panel. He's he's a friend of mine. He usually trolls me during the panel, which is why I freaked out earlier when I saw the Something Awful guys.
Well, maybe this is a troll. Maybe it's a trap.
No, I figure of all things, he was probably playing it straight on this one.
Okay.
So, but I had to be there at 11, so I'm like, all right, go there 11, do the interview, and then go.
That's cool. Was this on TV or something?
It might be on a website. It's not going up yet. We'll get a link through Twitter when it finally goes up.
Cool.
So it's now noon. I go to Classic Console to meet up with a couple of people, say hi that I wanted to see all weekend, chat with them a bit. Go to the expo hall around 1 o'clock. Start walking around, finally looking at things. Get texts from people that I'll have to meet up with a friend at Fangamer at 2. I meet up with a couple other friends beforehand. I finally get to try a game, one singular game.
Great. Can't wait to hear about this.
Yeah, and then go meet up with the friend from Fangamer. She says, okay, message me later, we'll go out for dinner. So I go hang out, we play some board games for a bit, then we go wander around the expo hall. We go to Cards Against Humanity to try to actually get the expansion pack, and any of the things they have left. Sold out. They had sold out in day 1.
Fuck.
Thankfully, the 90s pack, they are selling online. Don't worry.
Yeah, I knew about that, but did you get any pone meal?
No, sadly. I was kind of sad.
Fuck.
Sorry, dude. So then we go back to the expo hall, we play another game, but at that point, then there's the 10 minutes left to the convention announcement. So
you played 2 games there?
Yeah, 2 games and watched 1 or 2.
All right.
Best I could do.
Any other traveling stuff you want to mention before we get into those 2 games?
Yeah, there's the next day.
All right, cool. So you're coming home, right?
The trip back. Get up at 9 o'clock, or get up at 8:30 because a friend who has some of my equipment from the panel shows up at 9 with it. And he says, yeah, no, there's a couple things that you listed, they're not here. So I for a second, I thought some of my stuff had been stolen. Ends up, it was just hidden in a pouch I hadn't checked because it didn't look like there was anything in it. So thankfully, we were fine. Nothing was missing. Me and my buddy who got on the different flight out of Calgary, we are on the same flight back.
All right.
We get to the airport. Our flight leaves at, I believe it was 3 o'clock. We had got through security at 1. They announce there's a gate change for our flights. Like, oh no, was it gonna be like sitting across the airport or something? The gate change was literally right next door to the gate we were at. So we're like, okay, cool, it's fine.
Cool. Couldn't be better.
Yeah, we board the flight, and we wait. And we wait. Takes about 25 minutes before they announce, yeah, sorry folks, there's a problem with, I think, a light on the plane, or like a light capsule on the plane outside interior. We have to fix it, otherwise it's going to be a major problem when we're in midair. So it's going to be about 20 minutes. 20 minutes pass.
And it begins.
Then they come on again after the 20 minutes, say, yeah, folks, it's just going to be another 10 minutes. We just got to finish the paperwork for the repairs, and we're good to go. So we finally get going. We get to Toronto, and we now have 15 minutes before our flight starts boarding, and the plane has just landed.
Okay.
We run to customs. We think, we're not going to get through customs in time. There's only 3 people ahead of us in customs. We get through it crazy fast. So we go to the luggage carousel waiting for our luggage. And we wait. And we wait. We were the last group of people to get our luggage off the plane. We run for, we're like, okay, fine, we can make it, let's go. We run for the connecting area. There's about 70 people in a line in front of us. 70 might be generous, it might be more like 50, but it's still like a large amount. So we're like, all right, we're clearly not making our plane. We get up to the front, and they're like, yeah, you missed your plane. Go over here, we'll get you a new flight. And we're in a lineup of about 30 people, so we're not the only ones who missed our flight, all the different locations. They eventually give us our flight. It's 2 hours later than what we expected. And, yeah, we get on that flight finally after we get to relax a bit, and then we finally get home. It's now like 10:30, 11. He has to do a 3-hour drive back to Medicine Hat, and I just take a taxi home and then just fuck everything. The trip's finally done. I don't want to have to worry about it anymore. Open my suitcase to find out the reason we were delayed in Toronto was because the TSA decided to inspect our luggage, so as a result we got packed on later and had to be one of the later ones to get our stuff. So that was my trip to Boston. Sweet. It was great.
Yes, this is funny. I'm sorry to hear this. Oh man, what a crazy story. That's great.
Glad you're entertained, John.
That was entertaining for me, so I appreciate hearing that whole story.
That was fucking 30 minutes to tell that story.
There you go. But it's cool because we'll make up for it. You only played 2 games, so I guess let's just go into what did you play at PAX East?
I played Whoa Dave by Gaijin Games. You know them better as the Bit Trip guy.
Yeah, I know Gaijin Games. I don't know Whoa Dave.
Whoa Dave is a classic arcade game that is coming out on the Ouya and Steam.
What?
Yeah, I know. The demo stations were Ouyas. I'm like, what the fuck?
What is that? What is that thing?
The first thing I asked was like, is this just coming out only on the Ouya? I was like, no, don't worry. It's on like Steam, and we'll probably put it on the console.
Don't worry. Like the developer's like, no, we thought ahead. Don't worry. That's good.
So.
Does it look like a Bit Trip game? Like, is it all pixelated?
Yeah, it's super pixelated. It's basically like, imagine like, you know the old Mario Brothers arcade game?
Yes.
Imagine something like that, but a little bit trickier.
So, did you play Runner 2 or see it at all?
What?
Like, Runner 2?
Oh, I heard 1 or 2. I didn't hear Runner. No, I've played the first one and seen the second one.
So, is the art style closer to the first one or the second one? Because the second one isn't pixely, right? Like
first one. It's very, very pixelated. It's very 8-bit.
Okay. All right.
So the way the game works is eggs are raining down from the sky, and you have to destroy them because they're alien eggs. I assume that they're trying to like take over the world or something. So
eggs will do that.
Yeah, you throw the eggs at the monsters when they hatch, or you throw skull bombs at the eggs and destroy them. But the
skull bongs?
Yeah, bombs as an explosive.
So all right.
So you throw the skulls at them, but if you hold on to them too long, they explode and kill you. The idea is that while you're killing them, you're collecting money, and while you collect money, the music starts building up more, and the stage starts shrinking. Like there's a
how is this like the Mario arcade game? Isn't that more of like a battle your friend thing?
It can also that also has a single player mode, to be fair.
Okay.
Which is about like collecting the money and killing all the monsters, which is basically.
Okay. I guess I've always seen it. It's like multiplayer because like why not?
Yeah, so while you're doing this, like the music starts building up, the floor starts disappearing, and whenever one of the aliens gets into the floor, which is lava, they evolve. So they go through 3 different evolutions, and then eventually they just start turning into like a flying eyeball bat that like locks on you, so you have to kill those fast. But the more they evolve, the more money they're worth. So you've got to like balance out what's going on.
All right, so you have to like some risk reward for that. Where does Whoa Dave come into this?
Your character's name is Dave, and once you've killed enough enemies, a giant POW block will appear, but it's not a POW block, it's a Whoa block.
All right.
And when it appears, the game's just like, "Whoa, Dave!" And then you throw it and everything.
Like a sound effects, like they recorded.
Yeah, there's like literally a clip that says, "Whoa, Dave!"
Like I'm picturing like kind of like a '90s skater guy.
Yeah, he sounds fairly stoned.
Oh, this is great. This is good.
Yeah. So eventually, once you get to like I think $1, the bottom row disappears. The lava starts coming up, and then UFOs start coming out of the lava.
Oh man, that's the worst.
So now these UFOs are shooting lasers at you while you're fighting all the eggs and the other monsters coming from the eggs. So you're juggling this, trying to get this high score. I got to I think $1.80 and I died, but the high score that day was like $3.60. So I think crazier stuff happens after that.
This is just giving me like Scott Pilgrim versus the World stuff with all these like you got $1.25.
Like each enemy you kill is only worth $1. Yeah, 1 cent to 3 cents. So like you're picking up like a penny at a time.
Sure.
But no, I don't know. It was fun. I really liked it. The music was great, especially the farther along you got, the music got even better. Which I mean, guys.
Well, they always have great music, so I'd expect that. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. Once that comes out, I highly recommend it. It's just a fun.
Any kind of like release window? Any idea when that's planned to launch?
I think they said late summer. I'm not 100% sure on that though.
Okay.
I heard in passing.
Oh no, it's a PC thing. I don't know.
It's an Ouya special.
Ouya's equivalent, yeah, an Ouya special. The summer of Ouya. All right, and you played one other game?
Yeah, well, I will say I saw Mugenics while I was there because there was actually a playable demo of Mugenics.
What? Okay, what is Mugenics?
You didn't know about Mugenics? This is the Team Meat game.
I don't know much about this game at all. Then no.
All right, this is the crazy cat lady simulator.
I feel like I've heard the name Mugenics, and I just don't know anything besides something is called Mugenics.
All right, so this is a Team Meat game.
Sure.
Basically, you are raising a house full of cats, and like you're trying to like breed like the best cats around, but you can also do like fighting arenas with them, which are like little mini JRPG battles.
Right, like one would do. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like you're trying to raise as many cats as you can. It was interesting to watch. They also had
like cockfighting. Like
it actually was. It actually was.
Like but with cats.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, PETA's gonna love it. Just like their first game.
Yeah. On top of that, they were using the Steam boxes. Like the game was being demoed on a Steam box. So like
on a Steam box, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably the piston model. Like it was this big, like this. It was like really tiny, but it had like a direct like an Xbox 360
I don't think the piston. Like, are you assuming it was the one that was sent out? Because that wasn't the piston.
No, not the official Steam box. No, it was just like a third-party one.
Okay.
But like it had the Steam controller attached to it. People were using the Steam controllers to play it.
You didn't get to try out it?
No, I didn't. There was a lineup.
Darn, that would have been interesting to hear about. Okay.
But it was cool. So we checked that out, and then the people I was hanging with, we all went and played a game called Brawlhalla.
No, I don't know what this is either.
This is a 2D Smash Brothers game for, I guess, PC at the moment, I think. That's what they said. Okay. It's on early access right now, apparently. And they're planning to have 5-on-5 battles, so up to 10 people playing in a match at once. So imagine like 2.5 the amount of people you can have in Smash Brothers.
Right. Is this like couch co-op or online?
There's going to be online, but we were obviously playing couch co-op.
Right.
The idea that one of the main differences in the game was that every item you pick up just completely changes your moveset. So you've got your default like X and Y for like normal attacks and strong attacks, and then you pick up say pistols, and then suddenly all your X and Y moves are like changed for your pistols. Then you can like throw the guns, and you can grab like a sword, and then it's changed. You can grab like a rocket lance, you can grab a jackhammer, just all these different weapons. It was really fun to play. We had a really good time playing it. It felt really solid. Okay. I'm gonna check out early access.
Is it like is the art style like you said 2D, but what's it kind of like?
Like cartoony.
So it's not like this is an 8-bit game or retro.
No, nothing like that. It doesn't go for like a specific retro art feel. It's just like, oh, these are like cartoon characters.
Like, are they like flat, like 2D assets, or are they like Smash Bros, like polygons but on a 2D plane?
Flat 2D assets.
Okay, all right. So something like a Skullgirls, but with platforms, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it looked really nice. It felt solid, and it was really fun to play. We all had a good time playing it.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's one I suggest keeping your eye on if you're like Smash Brother type games. I'm excited to see how like a 5v5 would work exactly in a game like that.
Right, that sounds pretty chaotic.
It was hectic with 4 people. I can't imagine how it would be with 10.
Right. And what was that? Brawlhalla?
Yeah, Brawlhalla.
That's just making me think of a Valhalla.
That's what they were.
Dexter's Lab.
Oh, they were going for actual Valhalla. You're thinking Valhallan.
Valhallan.
That's the guy you're thinking of.
Yeah. What was the Hulk guy's name?
The Incredible Crunk. Or the Infraggable Crunk, that's what it was.
Oh, man, I love Dexter's Lab.
That was a good show.
Okay, and you watched one more game.
Fuck, I gotta remember what one it was now. Well, actually, I'll say this. There was a BMX track there.
Just like a full-size BMX track?
Well, I guess it was more like a half pipe, but there was like, for Trials, I think it's Fusion, the new Trials game?
I saw this, the Cards Against Humanity panel did some filming on that thing. Yeah. Was there people actually doing tricks?
Yeah. We walked down and we just like, there's just a dude on a BMX bike just doing tricks off a ramp. I'm like, all right, sure.
For Trials. But Trials is a motorcycle game.
I know, that's what confused me.
Is Trials now also BMX bike game or something? I don't know. I don't keep track of Trials.
The original Trials, like years and years ago, was a BMX game. So maybe that's what they were going back to, or maybe they thought being in like a super warm room, having a motorcycle going and putting exhaust in the whole room was a bad idea.
Yeah, I guess that would be, but that would also just be kind of insane, just coming in and there's motocross bikes going everywhere. Like that'd be bananas.
You never know, really.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something. I watched a little bit of La Milana 2.
Okay.
So, because Playism was there and they were showing off a couple games, and La Milana 2 was one of them. So that looks like a really solid platforming game as well. It's an adventure games where you play like an Indiana Jones type character going through all these temples, but the temple's completely full of traps, so you have to try to avoid all of them to try to get to the end. Sure. It was a big adventure game that came out like on the indie scene a couple years ago, or probably even longer than that at this point. But so this is the sequel that, it got Kickstarter backed I think like a month ago.
Okay.
So it's well anticipated.
Right. Well, any other highlights that you can think of from PAX East?
Being home.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought your panel was pretty cool.
I'm glad. That was your first time seeing it, right?
No, I've been in person to see it.
Oh, right. You saw the super old, like the version of PAX Prime. I forgot about that.
Yeah, a couple years ago. So I guess this is probably the second time I've seen it, I guess, now that I think about it. Yeah, I thought that worked well. One thing I'm curious about is, so you get all the prizes from Fangamer, right? I don't know how much of this you can talk about.
We buy them off of Fangamer, yeah, but that's all the stuff like the clothing.
Oh, it's not given by Fangamer?
No, it was the first year, but we felt bad that we were asking for so much, so we just we buy it, and I think sometimes they hook us up with a discount because we know a bunch of people that work there, but it's only because we're also buying in bulk. So.
What's why the decision of like giving so much to the winner as opposed to just giving like spreading it out? Like still have like a main prize, but.
See, here's the way that the actual thing worked. It just happened that he just played so good he got so many prizes. The way it works is the more like challenges you won, the better the prize you got, and then the highest winner got like the biggest prize, which was like the grand prize. It just happened that no one else except for the one girl who was behind us on stage actually got past 3. If you got to like 4 and 5, you got like the Fangamer mugs and posters and shirts and stuff.
Right, and that girl didn't know it was Mass Effect. I was in my room, I was going, come on, that's Mass Effect. What are you talking about?
Dude, a lot of the people that go to those don't know a lot of the different challenges we have there.
That's fair. There was a bunch that I just didn't know, but other ones where I was like, dude, come on, Prince of the Cosmos.
The one that I've gotten the most, I guess, shit for, or like I say, the contestant got the most shit for, was the 10-year-old kid who played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. And didn't know how to play and only got like 100 points.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So like a lot of people were giving him shit.
Anymore, but yeah, and everyone has their blind spots. So
yeah,
for sure. And yeah, you had a Payday 2 question. As soon as that happened, my eyes just rolled because I was like, of course this made it in there.
You can't be surprised.
But again, that was another one where I was like, that's Payday 2. Come on, how do you not know? That soundtrack's fantastic. Let's go.
I think like the next challenge was like a Hotline Miami one, so I just picked in stuff that like was indie related to, I guess, for lack of a better term. Like it's still kind of popular.
I was surprised fans of yours wouldn't just have Payday 2 memorized now. So
no, the guy who went up there was a Something Awful guy, but it said like I specifically like have not played Payday, so I don't know the soundtrack.
Oh, okay. I just figured like you've probably showed that game so much now, like everyone just knows it. But
yeah. But yeah, that was my PAX experience.
Cool.
It was great.
Cool. I guess I'll get into what I played. I actually played a bunch this week.
All right. Well, that makes up for the nothing I played. So.
Yeah, there you go. I actually played more than this. There you had that last part. Okay, so I checked out the latest update to FTL.
Ooh, yeah, how was it?
It's really kind of baked in. You have to enable it. So if you start up FTL, you make sure you click like enable for the new content. So I didn't really get to see a ton of just specifically the new stuff. It was more just I played about two like half versions of it, or I shouldn't say half versions of it, like 2 half quests. And it's just kind of baked in there. It's interesting to see just new stuff happening. However, I feel like I didn't play enough of the first one to totally be like, wow, this is so brand new. It just kind of seems like
this
could have been. To you. A lot of it kind of felt the same because a lot of it I didn't know if it was genuinely new or just something I didn't encounter before because I didn't play a ton before. But some stuff I could definitely notice is they added some more UI elements. Like you can kind of set like a placement system for your people so that if you have to like move them around because something's on fire, you can just hit enter for them to all return. So handling the ship got a lot smoother and nicer.
Thank God. That was my biggest complaint with the original FTL was just like too much micromanagement, I guess. Like to a fault.
I feel like that was part of like its charm though, is you wanted to like micromanage things.
I guess, but when it's at a point where it's like, yeah, we didn't bother closing the door when we walked through, it's just like, what? Why are you that lazy?
But I do love the fact that it's like, man, we need more firepower. Cut the power to engines. Put it all in, the missiles. We gotta destroy this thing. And great.
That's fantastic. That's like one of the coolest things I like about it.
Those are the coolest things. So, but yeah, no, some of the micromanaging has gotten streamlined a bit, which is nice. And there's new like rock people that are like really strong when they fight with you and whatnot. You can also purchase a cloning machine. So if one of your characters gets killed in some way, you can bring a clone of them back.
Wait, weren't the rock people already in the game? I seem to remember when I streamed it, I had rock people in my team.
Maybe. I know there is one new race. I thought it was rock people, but again, it could have been one of those things
I might be wrong, but I thought for sure I had already seen rock people.
I know there's a new race.
Someone in the chat will have this covered.
Rock people seemed new, but like I said, it might just be because I didn't play enough of it beforehand. But anyways, pretty great update for free if you have it on PC. So definitely enjoyed that. I finished Tropical Freeze two nights ago or whatever. My review on Comic Book Bin actually just went up before we started streaming right now. That game is fantastic.
Did you beat it 100% or did you just get to the end?
I got to the end because I'm not a crazy person.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, no, I got to the end. I did barely any of it.
I guess by 100% I mean, did you unlock the secret world?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even get all the side levels because I gotta keep moving.
Fair enough. You had to
starting at like World 5 or I think maybe even 5 or 6. It gets like incredibly hard. Like it is insane. Some of the stuff they want you to do, but no, really good. The silhouetted levels are just amazing again. I didn't play a ton of the first Country Returns.
Mm-hmm.
Silhouetted stages have any color in them, or were they just like black?
Red was predominant because it was a sunset.
Okay, because now what they've done is they've brought color into the silhouetted stage. So instead of like black silhouettes, it'll be shades of green. Ooh, or shades of blue. But so they're all still like solid blocks of color. Like they look so good.
I'll point it in Returns, like the original of the reboots. I've only gotten one silhouette stage, so if there are more, I don't know.
Okay. But either way, those look great. Specifically, there was this one stage, and again, I want to say the music is so good in that game.
Mhm.
But there's this one stage. It's a silhouetted one. I think it's on World 6, which is the last world before the secret one. By the way, it's a silhouetted stage where there's a constant avalanche happening, and you're jumping on little platforms that are slowly getting destroyed as you climb up a falling avalanche. And it's silhouetted with shades of gray, and there's like a piano piece going in the background. Like it's this
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, no, it's like this perfect storm of like I never want to leave. Like you're just doing like I'm climbing up an avalanche, and there's this like melodic piano melody. Just it's such a great stage. Like there are so many moments in that game that are just like the biggest thing I pointed out in the review is the presentation and how that game presents itself is fantastic. The camera angles that it plays with when things are blowing up and flying around the screen, like that game knows how to show off what's going on in just the most fantastic and beautiful way. And yeah, that's a fantastic platformer for the Wii U. So like it's Mario 3D World and it's Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. That game is fantastic.
Yeah, it's just for heads up, the guy who did the music for Tropical Freeze, same guy who did the music on the first 3 Donkey Kong countries on the SNES.
Okay, cool.
So it's David Wise again.
There you go. And then that goes in complete parallel to I've been playing Yoshi's New Island, which is so boring.
Yes, thank you.
Like I'm trying to go through that game, and I play like 2 stages, and I'm like, this game is so boring. Oh my gosh, like. And I guess it's bad that I'm coming off Donkey Kong where there was just constant like fun impulses going into my eye holes, and then Yoshi's is just slow and easy and jump forever, so it's really easy. The music's not cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so boring. I just don't want to keep playing it.
I was saying when I ranted about it last podcast. All the good stuff's really in the last world. Like the good music's there, the good gameplay, everything. But it's such a slog to get there. Oh my god.
One question I had for you that you didn't recall last time that I double checked was during the when Yoshi transforms for whatever reason,
mm-hmm.
and you're like tilting the system to do stuff, it does automatically turn the 3D off. So that's good to see. It's smart enough to know that if I start moving this thing around, it's gonna freak out. So like Dream Team, it knows when to turn it off. So that's good to see. But yeah, nothing in that game is compelling me to like want to play the next stage.
Where are you in it right now?
I'm in World 3.
My God, and you haven't even been doing the secret stages either. So I mean, if you're having that problem now, then God, I can't imagine how like other people feel.
Just like. And again, coming off Donkey Kong, where every stage is different and unique, and there's something cool happening in it, this one's just, hey, here's another stage with a bunch of flowers. Here's one with a bunch of clouds. Here's 3 with a bunch of clouds. Like it's like, ugh. What? I don't want to play this game. Ugh.
I'm so sorry, dude.
The Nintendo games with new in the title should be avoided.
I'm just hoping that Kirby and Mario Golf end up being good, and those are supposed to be coming out end of this month or beginning of May. I can't remember.
I
keep forgetting.
Mid-May. It's definitely in May. I think it's mid-May.
I'll look it up while we're.
I know for sure it's May. Here's one of the coolest things I played this week.
All right.
Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
Yeah, you recommended it to me before I got on my flight, but I didn't actually try it out on the flight.
And I really wish Nathan was here because this seems like a game that he would love too. But so, do you recall when they announced Rusty's Real Deal Baseball?
Yeah. Oh, and just before we keep going, May 2nd.
There you go, May. This was not the most recent Nintendo Direct, but I believe the one beforehand when we actually got some cool news. But the big thing about Rusty's Real Deal Baseball is, first off, Real Deal has 2 meanings. The first meaning is there are in-game purchases with actual money, but you can haggle the price to get a deal, which is pretty interesting and kind of cool to do. But here's the thing. Rusty is a old, like 70-year-old dog who used to be a professional baseball player, Rusty Slugger, and his wife is divorcing him.
What?
So, yeah, so his wife has left him and his 10 kids to fend for themselves. Yeah, here's the thing. The real deal, the second meaning, is he's in the middle of a divorce and he's like at his wit's end and he's gonna go out of business.
Holy shit!
That is the real deal in Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. I kid you not, this is a first-party Nintendo game.
That's about baseball minigames.
Yeah, it gets better. So Rusty, on his last room, he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy all these sweet baseball minigames from Nintendo that can be played on your 4DS. And you get stuff like, he doesn't know how to cook. So all the kids are just like burning down his kitchen because he doesn't even know how to make macaroni and cheese. And by the way, all of his kids look identical, and even they can't tell each other apart, and they keep joking about that. So like when you start the game, you have to pick one of his kids to be like your little buddy that kind of is a tutorial person, and you get a list of 10 dogs, and they all look exactly the same. They just have different names, and they all work exactly the same, but they just give you that weird choice for whatever reason. It's really great. Or you'll get stuff like Rusty can't smell. So here's the thing: when it comes to buying the mini games, Rusty will have like a problem. Like first off, you have to get him into a happy mood by giving him a donut, which you unlock donuts by playing the mini games. So like the first mini game, you get a demo of it, and it'll be like just it's just a batting one. You just hit the ball and get 10 points, and then level 2 is you got to get 20 points, and you have 3 lives all the time. Sometimes like there'll be different columns. So one column will be all about curveballs. One column will be all about like wacky pitches. And the best part, the person pitching it to you is a man in a suit whose head is a batting cage ball launcher. So this is how it gets introduced. You know the ball launchers you see in batting cages?
Yeah.
You'll see one of those like in the grass, and then it pops out of the grass because there's a man's body attached to it. So he comes from underground, and he's not even launching the balls with his head, he's just throwing the balls to you. His head is just a ball launcher.
Is this made by the WarioWare guys?
No, it's well, who is it made by again? It's the Brain Age guys.
What?
Because for a second I was like, is this like, these almost seem like Rhythm Heaven-esque like mini games where I'm just hitting the button kind of in time, or maybe Wario, like this is bananas. No, it's the Brain Age guys.
That's insane.
And it's just, so you'll get Rusty happy, and then eventually he'll be like, you know what, you're pretty good. But I really wish I was able to cook for my kids. Like my wife used to do all the cooking, but yeah, she's left me now, and I was just never real good at cooking. So eventually, when you're unlocking the donuts, if you keep playing good and you keep getting these stamps and you get to like certain waypoints on the stamps, you'll unlock like a ticket to a cooking class. And you can give that to Rusty, and he'll be like, no, I got way too much pride to go to a cooking class. I'm a professional baseball player. And you can kind of keep presenting the baseball, or not the baseball, the cooking class ticket to him until he finally accepts it, and you'll be like, you know what, you're pretty good. I'm going to take $1 off that price. Or I'm going to take 30 cents off that price. You can also get around that kind of like story element haggling by unlocking coupons that will take like 30% off. So you have to kind of do a bit of math to see the best is. And there's guys online that'll be like, the first game you purchase can't go lower than like $2. And all the games start at $4. The second game you purchase can't go lower than $1.90. And so I think normally if you just bought all the games at the beginning, the game would be $40, but if you haggle correctly and use the coupons correctly, you can get all the games for $16.
Which, that's pretty good. I also saw that Street Passing with the game also got got the coupons.
Yeah, it does get you coupons as well. I have not Street Passed with anyone. No one's really playing this game, which I'm not surprised to see no one's really playing this game, but I am just in love with the fact that the real deal in Rusty's Real Deal Baseball is that his wife has left him. And he's in a divorce.
He's got a real deal to go through, man.
Yeah, he's like this sad, depressing character who's always doing these little comments about how, like, man, my business is going to go under unless someone buys anything. And he'll say stuff like, man, I can't give you any lower because if I do, I'm going to be out of house and home. Or just stuff like, man, you got a great deal, such a great deal, this might bankrupt me.
Oh my
And
god.
it's just like, okay, I'm gonna go play your baseball minigame now. I'll come back later and buy some more stuff.
I feel like this game might traumatize you if you play it.
This game, it's the weirdest like passive aggressive thing, and the fact that it's a first party Nintendo game, like it is so interesting to me. So if you want to see a weird game, I highly recommend Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. I've only bought 2 of the minigames so far, so I've spent $3.90. I definitely plan to buy more.
And obviously need online to unlock the minigames, right?
Correct. Yeah, when you choose to.
Which is why I didn't play it when I was on the trip, because I wouldn't have Wi-Fi.
That's what I was thinking. Is like I wanted you to get it first, but I was thinking, crap, he's only going to be able to get the first little bit, and unless he plays a lot of it before he leaves, so it probably wouldn't have been the best thing to start with. But you could have played that demo and gotten like the first half of the first game real good. And the minigames, like they're pretty fine. It's just like hitting the ball or aiming the ball right. So there's enough depth to them to be kind of worth it, and the number of like different challenges they'll add to one specific minigame. Like the first one you get, even though it's just hitting pitches, there's like 5 levels, 5 different columns of levels, and an advanced mode. So you're looking at like 50 challenges to go through, plus you get just like a unlimited mode that'll go out on Street Pass to go against your friends. You can unlock costumes for your Mii and stuff. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I really like Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Another game I played start to finish was the 3rd episode of The Wolf Among Us.
Okay.
Yeah, that came out this week. Played through it in one go. Another game I reviewed. It's up on Comic Book Bin if people want to see that. I didn't really like that episode at all for the most part. Yeah, unfortunately, nothing really happens story related. It kind of feels like it's dragging its feet.
This is a 5-chapter game, right?
It's 5. I might have heard it's 4, but I think it's 5. I think it is 5. But for the most part, you get a cool thing at the beginning because at the end of episode 2, there was like a big revelation. So the first part of episode 3, Bigsby Wolf is just like extremely mad and just like breaking shit, and it's just cool to see him being like swearing and just shouting and not. And the end is real cool because I don't want to spoil it, but the end gets real awesome, and the tiny bit of story progression happens in the end. But for the most part, it's just kind of seems like it's waiting for the next thing to happen, and it was just kind of a bummer.
It might just because it's the middle of the book or the middle of the story that just usually.
Well, if we look at Walking Dead Season 1 from Telltale, Episode 3 was the best episode.
Well, never mind. So, just saying. Usually, the middle of the book, or the middle of a story, not always the best.
I'm trying to see how many episodes are in The Wolf Among Us, because if it is only 4, then I could see how this is like trying to set up the final stage. I don't know. Someone in the chat will have to mention that to me. I hope it's 5, obviously, but either way, if you're playing this game, of course you're going to play that episode. Unfortunately, it was kind of a rotten episode. And the last thing I just played a little bit more of Infamous Second Son.
Mm-hmm.
I now have the neon powers, which look so cool. The way you get them is you do this kind of boss fight, but because you can absorb neon, you take the neon out of the neon signs, and they put you in a warehouse with a bunch of like busted neon signs, and you have to absorb enough before you can fight the person. So you're constantly making the room darker and darker so that the neon looks cooler and cooler while you're fighting. Like it's this real great thing they threw in there. So you basically take out all the lights, and so now the neon just looks incredible while you're fighting the boss. And yeah, neon's cool. You just kind of run, and you have this trail of like neon streams behind you and whatnot. That game continues to just be phenomenal looking. So I definitely want to play more of that. I'm definitely still having fun. I've only played like maybe 2 hours. I've been streaming it. Actually, I wanted to bring this up. I tried out the Twitch streaming on the PS4.
Okay, how is it?
Thank you. It works so well. I've been told the Xbox One Twitch integration is better. I haven't tried that. But literally, I went into the options. I set up, like, yes, use the top-down perspective account, tweet out to my normal Twitter, and I can choose my audio quality. I can choose, like, what will happen is it'll take the screen, and it'll shrink it while you're broadcasting, and then on the right side, it'll show you how many people are watching, how many comments have been said. If I had the camera hooked up, it'll show my picture there, and then in the bottom, you can click the option so that the comments will kind of scroll on the bottom. So whenever there's a new comment, that'll pop up. So you don't even need to have like a second monitor or something with Twitch there.
Nice.
You can just watch your game. Yeah, super easy. Starts immediately. Goes straight out. I've had a bunch of people in the chat say it looks awful, but I did set the video quality to like the lowest because I was like, I don't want it to be chugging along. I moved that up to best, so I need to try that this time. But it works fine on my end. And the coolest thing is you can just plug a USB headset into the PS4, and it picks that up.
Huh.
So not even into the controller or anything. You don't need to use that little thing that it came with or a special one that plugs into the controller. I plugged my PC headset into the PS4, and I was talking into it.
Cool.
That was really cool. I was the ease that it set that up. That's how easy it should be, and I was extremely happy to see that. And then with that, let's go into the news.
All right, let's see what's going on. A lot happened because this is what, a week and a half now. Because we didn't get to do an episode last week because of PAX.
Right. So I'm going to leave the big thing for the end.
All right.
A few things were announced at PAX and just before PAX. A lot of these are just kind of release date related things, so we'll go through them pretty quick. I'm actually going to go through this whole thing backwards because that's the order in which I saw it. Johnny Gat was announced for Divekick Addition Edition.
Yeah! Can't believe it.
So when I saw this, I was like, this seems like John is going to love it. Like, it seems like a perfect storm for John.
That's the most sensible addition for Divekick you could have done if you're going to have a crossover. The
chat is also saying there are... Sorry to interrupt. Chat is saying there are 5 episodes for Wolf Among Us, so that's a bummer.
All right.
Anyways, yeah. First off, Divekick, the Addition Edition is funny. That's that's pretty good. And then, yeah, Johnny Gat is a playable character coming to that.
He's apparently getting added in, I think, in Edition Plus.
There's another one?
I think Edition's already out, and then he's in Edition Plus. They were demoing him at PAX, but obviously I didn't get to see it.
This video I saw just says Johnny Gat will be in Divekick Addition Edition.
All right, well then never mind. Maybe he's just in. I heard something about him being in Edition Plus, but I guess he's just in Edition.
But yeah, that's kind of cool. Does that get you excited to try out Divekick Edition?
Well, I mean, they're already balancing out things for it, and I believe I think it's just a downloadable patch for those who bought the game, isn't it?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure if they're making you buy the game again, I highly doubt it. But then again, that game's also like $2 on PS3, so.
Well, here's the thing: if it was just a download, would that excite you enough to load up that game again and play some?
Probably, because apparently they're rebalancing everyone too. That's a proper fighting game.
If you had to pay for it, is that enough for you to buy the game again?
Depends on the money that they're asking for.
$10.
No.
Okay, $5.
No.
Wow. Okay.
$2 or lower, baby.
Keep in mind, like, Street Fighter puts out balance updates all the time for like full retail price.
Yeah, but they also add like 6 characters.
Right. Oh, is this the only character they're adding?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Supergiant Games announced, this was before PAX, that Transistor is coming May 20th to PS4 and PC. I can't wait.
Didn't we? I guess this wasn't in last week's Top Down. Or last Top Down. Never mind.
This was not last week's the last Top Down, no. The last Top Down we talked about like Fire TV. There wasn't much news.
Fair enough.
But like you said, we kind of had to miss an episode last week because of schedule stuff, so it's been a bit. At PAX, Harmonix announced Record Run, a rhythm runner coming to mobile. I haven't seen anything about this. I don't even have a link to it.
Here's what I've heard about it so far.
Okay.
So it's basically like was it Jungle Run or Temple Run on portable phones?
You're thinking Temple Run?
I'm thinking Temple Run. Okay, cool. But the path that you go through is based on your music.
Sweet. So it's like what's that game?
Procedurally generated, based on your music.
Audio.
Temple Run.
No. What's that game?
Audio Surf is what you're thinking of.
Yes. Okay.
It's the
I was
Audio
hoping
Surf
it was going to
of
be
Temple
like
Run.
a side-scrolling runner, like Cannibalt.
I don't know if it's not. That's literally the only things I know so far is that it's that kind of like endless runner, but based on your music.
Cool. Well, hey, that's good. So Harmonix, they know fun games. So Super Time Force is coming late May, early June. So we got to go through Transistor real fast because I can't wait for Super Time Force. That's gonna be man. May's heating up, man. Like shit.
May's gonna be a good month. It's always right before E3 is pretty decent, and then like after it's good too, and then like July and August are
Like
usually
we're in the
dry.
lull right now because like end of March, beginning of April was bananas. So we're in the lull right now, and it's gonna heat up right again. Like man, okay. at PAX they announced PAX South, San Antonio, Texas, in January.
Mm-hmm.
So is that another conference you're going to be going to in January?
Possibly not, because it's the same weekend of the con I usually go to in January.
Have they announced the date?
Apparently they announced the date, and it's like whatever the last weekend of January is. Let me see if I can get the actual date.
Wait, you're talking MagFest, right?
Yeah, MagFest is usually the beginning of the year, but apparently this year it's the end of the month. Yeah, like
I remember this year, like you went on a plane on January 1st.
Yeah, apparently this year MagFest, like for once, was actually going to be like the end of the month, so 23rd to 25th, and supposedly that's when PAX is as well. Right. Which means we're gonna have to choose which one we go to.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a weird time for PAX. I feel like that's very similar to PAX East, in which not a lot of new games are coming out. Like, in fact, this one is going to be right after all the big games were coming out.
Yeah, like, and then it's 3 months before East.
Well, actually, to be fair, like this February and stuff, we were getting quite a bit of like big names. So
I'm pretty sure the idea is that it's not everyone's supposed to go to all the PAXs, so it's mainly for people who like live down in the southern part of the U.S. or like other countries below that can't make it usually.
Right. Drinkbox Studios, so the guys behind Guacamelee and something else.
Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition.
No, and those other games I liked that were on the Vita about Mutant Blobs Attack. There we go. Announced Severed. It looks cool. It has their great art style again. So I'm always excited for Drinkbox Studio. I believe they're Canadian.
Ooh, okay.
So
I don't know why, but that reminded me of another game I watched at PAX. I cannot remember the name of it, but basically it was an adventure game, but it was a dramatic adventure game, like telling a story. The area I walked in was two guys were being tortured, and you had like options of how to like respond to them while they're torturing you, and how to try to figure out how to get out of it. This was a PC game. I have the materials for it in my suitcase, which is in the other room. So.
What do you mean you have the materials for it? Like someone gave you some info on it?
Yeah,
like
they gave me a pamphlet.
Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know what this is, so.
Yeah, so it seemed really cool, though. It was just like them telling like a crazy story, and like you can influence with your choices.
This next one, I thought this was just this isn't much of a news story. I just thought it was super interesting. So a while back, we had PAX announced the Diversity Lounge was going to be a thing. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So we have this, I don't know who this is, Brianna Lindsay. She just made like a post on Facebook or something. Apparently she was someone working at the Diversity Lounge, and she just kind of posted her thoughts. And I just thought this would be kind of interesting to like go back and touch like how did this thing turn out? Because when it was announced, people were like, "This sounds awful. This is super weird." I'm pretty sure we were like, "This seems just kind of silly" or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember our exact comments, but we definitely talked about it. So she has just a few points. I'll just kind of like read them verbatim. So she says, PAX is winding down. I had a lot of people asking me about the Diversity Hub. Here are my thoughts. So it's the first room you see right in the right hallway. It's a major high traffic area. The doors are always open to increase traffic. So I guess that's good that it's in a good spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
She said the room is bright. There are beanbags to hang out on, tables to game on. People have been using the lounge as a place to hang out. The enforcers were excellent and played fun music. So it seemed just like another kind of hangout area. I'm picturing kind of like where Nintendo handheld games usually are, kind of with those beanbags around there or whatever. I don't know if you even saw this.
I walked past it.
Okay. Did it seem like a friendly and inviting place?
Somewhat, but it was just weird seeing like them just kind of being regaled to like a room.
Right. Well, I from what I remember, I think it was just supposed to be something of like a place of like safety, because PAX has become kind of weird with Gabe and all that.
I don't know. Like when I first heard the lounge, I thought it would be like some open area, just kind of off like to the side or something like that. So
that's what it seems like this is.
Well, I mean, like no, by open area, I mean like if you're walking in the hall, like you would be literally walking past it. Not like, oh, here's like a room. If I go through this room, I'm suddenly in like a mini expo hall of like all these other events like GamerCon or GaymerCon advertisements and just like other things like that.
Actually, yeah, sorry, side topic that I just remembered about that. GamerX, the GamerCon,
Yep.
just announced this week that the convention that they're doing, which is in July, which is their second annual one, is their last one. They're shutting it down. So that's sad to hear that. Anyway, yeah, sorry to interrupt. Did you need to finish your point?
That was pretty much it.
Okay. Her third point was that Penny Arcade made diversity lanyards, and also they printed out schedules for social advocacy talks. And this is the first to have the official swag backing from PAX for the LGBT community. So I guess the people behind PAX were also helping out with the diversity lounge to make it, I don't know, filled with info and stuff. So that's good. It's good to see that.
Mm.
She even said that Mike made a point to visit us and play test his game with us. He has like a tabletop game. Being we, she was talking about 2 of the Press XY panelists. I don't really know what that is. I'm assuming it was an LGBT panel.
Yeah, sounds right.
Apparently Twitter got really negative about that, but she thought it was good that Mike came and connected with that community. That sounds good too. And then our last point is that Penny Arcade made sure there was a trans-safe bathroom with the gender-neutral bathroom.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah, so apparently they must have cordoned off some bathrooms for a gender-neutral bathroom and a trans-safe bathroom. I think that's pretty interesting. So, anyways, yeah, not a huge news topic. I just thought that was... So many people kind of made a big thing about it. I didn't hear anyone talking about how that turned out. I wanted to make sure we kind of touched on that.
It's probably because those who would have actually made a big stink about it didn't go near it.
Maybe. I have no idea. It from the sounds of it, it doesn't seem like a ton of people probably were there. Otherwise, she probably would have mentioned we had a huge turnout or something like that. I don't know if you saw if there was tons of people there or not. Anyways, yeah, I thought that was cool that happened. It seemed like Penny Arcade was behind it and helped out, so that's good to see. That can only be good. Anyways, last bit of news, the big piece of news was that we had a Nintendo Direct last week, and then the internet kind of exploded.
Yeah, that was a lot to learn about Smash Brothers.
That was a lot. So, coincidentally, just on the last episode, we were talking, yo man, where's my Smash Dojo, where they show tons of cool things about Smash all the time. They clearly were holding it all off for this Nintendo Direct. So, I'll kind of go through what we got. If there's any highlights you want to bring up, feel free to jump in.
I live tweeted the whole thing, so most of my comments are already on my Twitter feed, but yeah, I'll try to chime in with what I...
Right. Yeah, in case people missed it, or so we have it archived. We have a launch date. 3DS one is in the summer. The Wii U one is this fall. I think that's fantastic because it'll keep my interest level up on Smash Bros. Otherwise, if those had just come out, I would have burned out and just been done with it, like I did for Brawl. I don't know what you think.
Sorry, just like the Nintendo Direct, you mean, or
just like the staggered release?
I think it's a little weird.
Okay.
It makes sense, but there's got to be more of a draw to the Wii U version than what they're hinting at right now, because it just seems like why? Like, why would I buy the Wii U one except for the fact that, like, we can play on the TV when I can already get the 3DS one, which I assume is also going to be cheaper. Like, they didn't say that the prices were going to be different, but I assume the prices.
Oh, of course it'll be cheaper. It's a 3DS game versus a Wii U game.
Like, it's going to be a hard sell. Like, I think they're doing damage essentially to the Wii U version, even though it looks really good. I think it's
I don't think so. Like, having 2 copies, I feel like the fact that if they both came out at the same time, I bet tons of people, specifically kids, that maybe they can only get one game every now and then. The parents get them one game. It's going to be, which one do you want? Well, I want, I guess I want the one for the Wii U, or I guess I want, they could pick one. Whereas having it split up, like, at least for me, it gets me interested. Yeah, I'm playing my 3DS one. Cool. And, oh, hey, there's different stuff coming out in this Wii U one. I'll get the Wii U one because now that's the new hotness.
Maybe. I don't know.
It keeps the excitement level lasting longer, regardless.
They did tease a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, there's going to be a bunch of different modes in it. But here's the thing that I find surprising. They said that both games will have the same roster, which means, theoretically, they're not going to add any characters to the Wii U version unless... A, DLC, or B, having both versions unlocks characters in both. Like, say, like the Wii U version has exclusive characters that if you connect your 3DS to a copy of it, you unlock them in your 3DS one.
I'm assuming it's going to be the former, in which if they'll have DLC characters that'll come out for both. If they do DLC characters, or they might just be like, nope, this is what we're sticking with, and that's the end of that. Who knows? They made it seem like they're kind of trying to do a lot of online stuff.
Yeah.
They mentioned a lot of like they mentioned the whole online segment, which glory mode is the best idea ever.
Pretty much. That's the best compromise they could have done with Smash Brothers. Have a mode for everyone who takes like the competitive game seriously and everyone who just wants to just goof off.
So for those who don't know, glory mode, basically what it does is it turns every stage into Final Destination. So you get just a flat platform with like no items or whatever, but the stage still looks and sounds like their original stage, which that's great because like I grew up, I only played Final Destination. I started going to like tournaments to watch. Everyone was only playing Final Destination. Like I didn't even need to like talk to people to be like, no, dude, Final Destination is the thing. It was just players figured out all we want is Final Destination if we're being like serious about this. I think this is the best incorporation of like we listened to the fans and we did this incredible thing with it.
Yeah,
it's such a good idea because eventually, you get tired of that Final Destination song. You want to hear KK Slider singing to you. So there you go. And then there's also normal fun modes where you can customize all the stuff. We've got new characters, Greninja, so I feel like that capitalized on my topic that Greninja looks awesome, and that weird Firefox thing that I ended up with is still bullshit.
Well, Fennekin's just a normal summoning Pokemon, like the devolved version, so...
Right, yeah, they didn't even put the third stage because that thing sucks. It's got like a wand, like a loser. Greninja's a playable character. I picked the wrong starter. Also Charizard, because Japan loves Charizard. I don't get it.
Also, he was in Brawl, technically, so...
But he was one of three. Like, what's up with
Charizard? Charizard was the best of the three.
I always liked Ivysaur, man.
Ivysaur was good in Project M, but I'm pretty sure the original three Charizard was the best. Right. In Vanilla Brawl.
Yoshi now stands up straight.
Just like Bowser does now.
I didn't know that part. All the split characters have now been split into separate characters, so Zelda and Sheik are separate. I'm actually surprised they did that because, like who cares about Sheik anymore? Like, I'm surprised they're still putting Sheik in there.
The reason they're putting Sheik in there is because that's what a lot of the players used to use. Like, Sheik was one of the best characters.
A lot of the players used to use, like, Roy or whatever. They take characters out all the time.
Roy was actually pretty low tier. Everyone used Marth.
I used Roy.
Why did they ruin this game for me specifically?
Yeah. Why did Nintendo hate me, okay? Zero Suit Samus. I'm just trying to think of when was the last time this character was relevant in video games? Sheik is not relevant. Zero Suit Samus is not relevant. Anyways, Zero Suit Samus and Samus are split up as well.
Zero Suit Samus has at least been in a recent-ish game. He was another M.
Was it? As like a cutscene character, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she also had short hair, so it's not this Zero Suit Samus.
No, she didn't. She just had her hair tied up in that game.
No, she totally had like a...
You're thinking flashback, Samus.
Which is when she's... Okay, when is she in Zero Suit?
There are three Samuses in Zero Suit Samus. Armored Samus, Flashback Samus, and Zero Suit Samus.
I don't remember Zero Suit Samus. Do you play as Zero Suit Samus?
No, you don't play as either of them. You just play as Armored Samus.
Okay.
But Flashback Samus is in the cutscenes through the beginning, and so is Zero Suit.
During current day?
Yes.
Huh. Well, clearly it was memorable.
I can tell.
Little Mac, they talked about how he sucks in the air.
Yep. He's apparently super powerful on the ground, but because he's a boxer, but once you get him in the midair, he can't really punch things very well. I don't know. Yeah. I like that's a good way to balance out Little Mac. I think make him a powerhouse on the ground.
Comics writer in the chat has it right. Roy's our boy. Roy's our boy. That's right. That is right. All right.
And then Victor also says nobody used Roy. What are you talking about? So I think
I used Roy. Okay, I loved Roy. He was strong. He was stronger than Marth. Anyway.
But he hurt himself using his friggin' B attack.
You don't use it. You use his smash attacks, man. It's all about using his fast attack. But that's right. He was just so powerful, he hurt himself. But yeah, also Little Mac has like a meter above his health now that when it like fills up, he has a one hit KO attack.
Did they say like if you got hit if it dropped down? I couldn't remember.
They did not mention that. I think when you got hit, it goes up. It's like the percentage.
Oh, it's actually the opposite. Okay.
So it goes up with it's like tied to the percentage kind of. So the closer you are to death, the like more powerful you are kind of. With that punch at least, not just in general like Lucario or whatever. They talked briefly about the Wii Fit trainer, which still sounds like the best character in the world. I saw a part where she was doing like a push-up and like kind of crawling push-up around as part of her movement, and that's great. I am so happy the Wii Fit trainer is in this game. They talked a bit about the villager from Animal Crossing. His Super Smash is Tom Nook, which that's great.
I thought that was amazing. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That guy's terrifying, and so awesome. I'm trying to think. Boss characters will show up in stages, so that's new.
Yeah.
They showed off someone, Yellow Devil from the Mega Man series.
And they teased Ridley.
Right. They are splitting up the Pokeball to have Pokeballs and Master Balls, which will be the rare Pokemon. I'm trying to think. Oh, you can also do custom movesets, which I don't like. I don't like a lot of custom ability.
Keep in mind, that's only for local play. Online, it doesn't work.
Well, I'm not going to play online. I'm probably only playing local. So.
Yeah, I guess that's that.
I guess my problem with customizing movesets is eventually it'll be like, well, no, you use this specific customization because it has been determined this is the best, so why would you use anything else? Customization is useless. That's my stance on customized movesets.
Yeah, I'll see what they do. Because, I mean, like, they showed, like, it changing how, like, your fireballs worked and stuff like that. Right.
Trying to think if there was anything else mentioned. I think the 3DS game looks really nice with its art style. But that's not like that's new or anything.
They showed off the 3DS specific mode, Smash Run.
Right.
Which is basically City Trial.
Air Ride. Yeah.
Which as soon as I saw that,
Kirby's Air Ride.
When I saw that, I was like, no way.
Yeah, no, and I even tweeted out, like, man, I tried telling you people Kirby's Air Ride is serious business.
I'm psyched for that.
GameCube era Nintendo games don't mess around, right? So, yeah, it looks pretty interesting. I'm pretty excited. Which I wasn't really beforehand, so this is why Smash Dojo needs to be awesome, but they just kept everything for this. So there you go. There was actually, now the chat reminded me, one more Nintendo Direct. Tamagotchi Life was announced.
Tomodachi Collection or Tomodachi Life.
Tomodachi Life, which that is like the best 10-minute trailer I've like ever seen.
I've seen just a picture of people walking around a Virtual Boy screaming "All hail the Virtual Boy."
Yeah. That's definitely one of the highlights.
I'm totally missed this.
It basically looks like The Sims or Animal Crossing, but with Miis. And it's just, you kind of just live your life, but you can just do wacky stuff. And the way they set up all the wacky stuff is like Bill Trinan from Nintendo of America is like confessing his love to a Mii that looks like Samus Aran. And then all of a sudden, a Mii that looks like Reggie comes out of the sand because they're on a beach, and he's all muscular, and he's like, no, wait, I love you. And then Iwata in a wetsuit comes out of the ocean, and he's like, no, I love you. It's so crazy. It is so crazy.
Are you recommending I go watch it?
It's 10 minutes long, but it is definitely worth it. There's a bunch of, because you can customize like what the voices, but it all just sounds like MIDI, like Microsoft Sam kind of talking, but they put music behind it. Oh, it is so weird. It is classic like weird Nintendo, like Japanese style Nintendo, but Bill Trinan's also doing it. Like, it's one of the reasons like I don't want Nintendo to go away, because you do weird things. So thank you. I would highly recommend watching the 10-minute Tomodachi Life thing. It almost makes me want to get that game when it comes out this summer. That's going to do it for the news. We have so many questions to go through.
All right. So I guess it's time we go to emails. I had a bunch of people talk to me at PAX about the podcast, and they were like, "We love it when you do the email thing." I'm like, "All right."
Oh yeah, I'm glad. That's cool that we had some top down respective listeners. That's awesome.
I was like, I wonder if I should probably just like ease off on that. I was like, no, we actually enjoy that. Don't worry, keep it going. Like,
That's great. I'm glad to hear a lot of your fans listen to the podcast. That's definitely real cool. I didn't copy these all over, so I'll just read them aloud. I'm going to start at Twitter. For those listening, if you want to send us questions, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com. It's on Twitter at TDP Podcast, or it is on the Facebook group. Just search Top Down Perspective. And you should also review us on iTunes so we can beat the EverQuest podcast.
RuneScape. Are you just doing it on purpose now? Nathan's not here being upset about it, so now I have
We're trying to beat the Neverwinter Nights podcast. Neverwinter Nights, there's a game. EverQuest next is coming out, and it's going to destroy us. So we need your guys' reviews. It helps boost us up. We don't want to be behind Star Wars The Old Republic podcast forever. Here is the first question from... Actually, I'm going to skip that one because it's about Smash Bros. And we just talked about it. Here's one from the Juker. HD remakes good to regain interest in a series? Pointless? Does it lead to disasters like Silent Hill HD? Would you prefer a new entry? What do you think?
HD remakes make sense, but I mean, it's got to be a long enough gap between the two.
Sure. Otherwise, you're not really up-resing it that much.
Exactly.
Well, here, I'll ask you this. The Last of Us for PS4 is coming out this summer.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a long enough gap?
That's an entire year.
Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, it was a launch title. Like, is that a long enough gap? We're looking at about a year each time.
I don't know. I think that's a bit overkill, but I mean, I can understand for those two games because of the console gap.
Okay.
So those make sense, but I don't know. I wouldn't really call it an upgrade per se.
Most HD editions do have a console gap. That's why they're able to say HD.
Well, no. Well, okay, but yeah, there's also usually like, let's use Eco and Shadow of the Colossus for an example. That HD collection came out like what? 7 years after Eco came out, and like maybe 5.
Yeah, there's a huge gap for sure.
Yeah. And then like I see like the Rayman HD collections and Ratchet and Clank, stuff like that. But then like I guess in the case of I don't really find them HD versions. Like I wouldn't call like the jump to PS4 an HD version. I just call that. Yeah, it's weird because like always in the first year of a new console, you find like the ports. So that's just to me those are just ports.
Okay.
Nothing more.
So you're saying it becomes an HD remake not just because of the name, but if it's been long enough? Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you appreciate them, or would you just prefer like a new entry in the series?
That's tough. I kind of want both, to be honest, because I appreciate them for the fact that they can bring the game that people might have missed the first time around to a wider audience. But at the same time, like I would rather get a new game in most of those series, but maybe they're using the HD remake to gauge whether or not there's enough interest to do a new entry. So I mean, they're also somewhat important.
Would you prefer, like, don't waste your time making it HD, just put the old version on Steam to gauge interest? Or do you think the HD is necessary?
I don't think the HD is always necessary. But
yeah, I kind of feel that as well. Like, if I'm wanting to play a game that's old, it's like, well, now it just looks terrible, I'm not going to play it.
Well, I mean, there are certain things that probably do need to be changed. Like, I'm glad they fixed the frame rate in Shadow of the Colossus, because that was a kind of a game killer there to some people.
Sure, I can see that. Yeah, I definitely don't think they're pointless. In terms of prefer a new entry, I don't know, because I feel like if the game's good enough, like, let's bring it back, maybe that's just good enough for me. Like, there's a whole bunch of games that if they did an HD, it's like, yeah, I could play those again. That maybe I wouldn't need a new one, because the new one, it could be a bad game. But the old one is a guaranteed game. However, saying that kind of sucks because, you know, all Nintendo does is make their same games again, and we're constantly wanting new stuff, so I'm a hypocrite.
Someday.
Who knows?
Someday.
AC writes in, what do you think of other competitors entering the console market? Do you think it's already too crowded?
I'm not quite sure what he means by that. I assume he's not referring to Steam boxes. I assume he's referring to stuff like Ouya.
I think he's just referring to like if anyone tried it.
Like, More competition's always better.
For sure. That's definitely true. I was trying to think about it, though, and it's like, if you get down to it, the PS4 and the Xbox One are pretty similar.
Yeah.
Like, is there any point to these? Especially with the PC there that beats them all the time because it doesn't need to wait 6 years to upgrade. Like, it almost just becomes like, yeah, we have Kinect, which is kind of half broken sometimes, and we have the PlayStation 4i, which I don't even know if anyone's using that besides having sex on that one streaming thing they have on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
What if you guys combined your forces and made a real cool camera? Like, I don't know. So I'd say, like, I don't think we need any more consoles. There's already too many. Right?
I don't remember that the most we've had at one point was 4 consoles on the market. So we had Xbox, Dreamcast, PS2, and N64 GameCube.
Well, I'd say we have 4 now if you include the PC.
Oh, I mean, if you count the PC back then that's 5. Like,
Sure.
PC still counts back then.
Okay, yep. So 5, yep.
I don't know.
I just look at it like Nintendo. There's no like comparison. No one's doing what Nintendo's doing. The PC does like everything except Nintendo, and then it's just kind of the Xbox and the PS4 have their exclusives, but like they're almost like the same thing to me.
So really, it wouldn't matter if there was another console on the market unless it did something original.
That's what I would prefer. Like, I could almost lose a console, and it probably wouldn't affect me. As long as like if for whatever reason, if let's say all of the Microsoft games were now just on the PlayStation 4, I'm sure they'd look almost the exact same, if not better, because we keep hearing the PS4 is doing higher resolutions these days. Like, what are we gonna miss out on Kinect? Like, the PS4 is already attempting to do some Kinect stuff, so it's like you're so similar. Like, that was actually one of the things I mentioned in my review for Donkey Kong, was it's not using both screens. This game doesn't need to be on the Wii U. It's not giving me a good reason to have a Wii U. That's kind of a bummer. So.
It's just a good game that happens to be on the Wii U.
Yeah, it's just a good game that has to be on the Wii U, but it's not using the unique interface. So why do I need the screen? Like, I don't for this game. That's weird, especially for a first-party game. Dunsparce and Diglett asked, "Did you guys see the lunar eclipse last night?" I missed it.
I watched a live stream of it because I would have had to have gone outside of the building. Here's the dumb thing: I looked outside my apartment. Usually, I can see the moon from my apartment. Couldn't this night. So I'm just like.
No, I actually forgot. Turns out apparently there was a bunch of fog here, which that's pretty standard for San Francisco. So I may not have been able to see it anyway. But I saw pictures. I just love the whole, like, I'm not going to look outside my window when the computer can just show me it.
No, here's the thing. Like, it was a live stream from an observatory, so it was like super zoomed in.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
And like live? This was live, and this was also just like after I'd gotten home from the airport. So I was like, I don't really want to fucking move anywhere right now.
That actually reminds me, this would have been a couple months ago. I was watching a live stream. Someone hooked up a camera just to look at a bald eagle's nest.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just at work watching like some baby bald eagles just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, that's like panda cam and stuff like that happen all the time.
Yeah, that's great. We live in a great world where cameras are everywhere. This is amazing. This is so good. Hook up a GoPro to everything. I want to see everything from a GoPro. Like those people when the planes like hit each other and they just jumped out and skydived and survived, and we got to see all that. It's like, when is it? I love being in the 2014. This is great. Bring on 2015. All right, next question. Nope. The rest on Twitter is people saying that our chat sucks. All right, I know we have some on the email. This one is about Smash Bros.
All right.
This next one from Thomas has a few questions. First, have you ever had any non-Tiny Tower games that you spent hundreds of hours into, regardless of whether it was healthy or not?
Payday 2?
I played like over 300 hours of Pokemon Gold. So yes. I don't know how healthy that was. It was a portable system, so I probably had to walk around.
Probably not while playing it, though.
Probably, knowing me, probably while playing it.
Fair enough.
Second, with the Twitch Plays Pokemon fad going on, would you like to see any other games with that system, say like Tetris or The Legend of Zelda?
The thing is, people already did that. Like, while Twitch Plays
like,
Pokemon was in, like, its highest point, people did, like, Tetris, Pokemon, Wheel of Fortune, Family Feud, just whatever they could think
also,
of.
the fact that he adds, like, while the fad is going on, I feel like that fad is, like, done.
I kind of. Let me just... It's
like,
not
as soon as the first game ended, it was like, oh, you're just doing it again? Like, whatever. Like, well, I feel like it would take, like...
There were a decent amount of people watching the second one, but the third one, like, I saw, like, 2,000 at the most.
Well, like, just my general interest in it is, like, you guys, it's the same thing, like, whatever. And people doing it with other games, it's like, this, you're trying to just catch it again. You're just trying to catch lightning in a bottle again. Like, it's real hard to do. They would have to, like, find the game I'm not thinking of. Like, oh man, that would be perfect in this scenario.
So, right now, Twitch Plays Pokemon is on their 4th game. They're doing Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Yeah. There's a reason Kotaku didn't tell me about that.
Yeah, like, there's 2,600 people watching right now, and they seem to be making, like, actual progress.
So can you think of a game that would bring your interest back?
No.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah. Like you said, lightning the ball is probably the best way to have summed it up.
Yeah. Third, do you know if there's any software that will let you upload old Windows 98/XP games to his computer?
Sorry, say that again.
So he has old like Windows 98/XP games, like ones that work fine on those systems. He wants to play them on his new computer, which I have to assume is probably running 7. Is there any software that lets that happen?
Yeah, it's called Windows. There's compatibility modes in Windows that would let it run like it was on Windows XP, but there's still some problems with it. The problem is a lot of the games that run back then might need some patching and stuff like that. Usually there's a big enough, if it's a popular enough game, there's an online community who's figured out how to do that. So if you look online...
Roller Coaster Tycoon, so I'm sure there's got to be something for that.
Oh, I mean, like, most of the Roller Coaster Tycoons are on Steam at this point, so yeah.
So you're saying it might just be better just to get a Steam copy of it, like...
Good Old Games is also always a good place to check too, because that's kind of what they were known for the longest time, was just literally like fixing up old games and releasing them to be played on systems.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I should probably look into that because then I could play my copy of like Viva Pinata on this Windows 8 machine.
I forgot Viva Pinata was a PC game.
Yeah, that game's awesome.
Is
there any software that lets you play them on a Mac?
That is a little trickier, but is sort of doable. You would need, oh god, what the fuck is the name of that program? You need a program that would let you boot basically a virtual version of a Windows operating system in it. I used to know what this was. I used to sell this program, but I can't remember what it's called right now. I'm sure there are different ways around it now. You can even just do a separate hard drive partition and just have that boot up as Windows instead. Because a lot of the newer MacBooks are Intel-based, they can actually run it. They can run Windows just fine. So there are multiple ways to do it. I just recommend looking online to see what's best. You probably want like a Windows emulator or just like a multiple OS emulator.
Sure. Actually, in the chat, someone mentions Twitch Plays Pac-Man. I think that's a game that it would actually work.
That actually existed, too. I watched it for a bit.
I'm sure it did. Yeah. Finally, would any of you guys say that you have a catchphrase? I don't have a catchphrase.
Oh, wait. Sorry, hang on. 10 runs on the ball for me. I was thinking of VirtualBox or VMware. Or that's at least what he's suggesting. They're just virtualization softwares. Those aren't the names I remember for that, though.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the...
Do you have a catchphrase?
Jiminy Jillikers.
There's a catchphrase.
No. I don't really...
Jiminy Jillikers.
That's the Simpsons reference, by the way. I don't actually have one. Like, people would say I've said enough things that would become catchphrases, and people will say them to me like they are catchphrases, but...
Wasn't the move faster pokey your catchphrase?
That's what people think it is, and then there's, like, football, death water, stuff like that. I say things that turn into, like...
I've never even heard of those, so...
They're newer, that's why. I've said things that people will, like, attach to, like, catchphrase kind of thing, but... I wouldn't really say I, in particular, have one, except for, like, I say anyways a lot, so maybe anyways is my catchphrase. Anyways, let's move on.
There you go. Yes, next question is from Daniel. Hey, guys, my mom's an English professor who's been teaching a class on allegories, and I'm doing my best to show her some good examples of allegories in video games. We're going to play through Killer 7 during the summer.
Oh, my
God.
God.
Aside from that, what are some good examples that we could play through?
Oh, my God. Are you trying to scare the shit out of your mother?
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, okay, have fun. The first thing that came to my mind was Journey.
Yeah.
Like, I'm also just trying to think of like my mom, and it's like, don't show her Killer 7, show her Journey.
Killer 7 is kind of a giant, like, I wouldn't say allegory. It's more so a giant clusterfuck. I
Most
maybe
of the stuff coming to my mind were like all indie games. I thought of Limbo. I thought of Braid.
Shadow of the Colossus.
I was thinking. I thought of Shadows of the Colossus, but it's only really like the ending. Like,
yeah.
Otherwise, she'd have to watch him play like the entire thing to realize what the ending's talking about.
Even if you just shoot in every half hour.
Yeah, like if you showed her the ending, she'd be like, "I don't get what this means, guys. I'm not gonna say what happened. Or that game's old enough. Guy's turning into a monster. Whatever. Like, yeah, that game you can't really like see a section of it and be like, "Oh, I get it." Whereas, I guess the games I mentioned too, you can't really see a section of it. But at least Limbo and Braid or Limbo and Journey are only a few hours, so it could be like, "Hey, mom, want to watch this movie about walking through the sand?"
True.
I'm trying to think of anything else. Pokemon is a huge allegory for friendship.
Apparently I say not gonna lie a lot. And to be fair, I could see that.
What's up?
Apparently I say not gonna lie and to be fair a lot too, which I could see.
Oh, people are saying emails, you will give me an egg.
To be fair, I don't usually say you will give me an egg. That's a voice clip that does that for me.
That's true. But you do have that domain.
That's true. Well, I didn't buy that. Someone bought it for me.
Oh, well, it still links to your stuff.
That's true.
So, any other games? What do you think?
Fuck, I had a couple in mind right now. They're not. Nothing's coming to mind right now.
I
Sorry.
should open my Steam account. Anyway, I gave you a few there.
The Stanley Parable. It's an allegory for video games.
Yeah, I don't think that will work. All right, this next one's from Captain Freetime. Hey guys, first time writing in. I have a question on digital copies of games. It seems that people are very split on whether they like them or not, especially when compared to the possibility of having physical copies. Some people like digital copies because, hey, re-download if something breaks and multiple games on the same machine. Some like physical copies because it's an actual tangible product that the person owns. Which do you prefer? Do you see one taking over? And do you think there's a potential for some game companies to pull off something like DVD bundles that have a digital copy included with the actual discs? That last one, I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah,
I could see that. When has that happened?
Remember, on the Xbox actually had it happen a lot. Remember a lot of those like physical collections of digital games?
Oh.
Like the Konami Classic bundles, XBLA.
That didn't give you a download code. You had to have the disc in all the time.
I guess.
I thought what you were going to say, though, was when the Xbox One and PS4 were coming out, where you could buy the disc copy and then upgrade for like $10.
Yeah, that was a thing, too.
Which is not quite the same, but similar. I think that seems like I could see an indie doing that. However, indie would not also publish a retail copy because they can't afford that. But the fact of an indie being like, hey, we'll give you a physical and a digital version, like almost like a Kickstarter reward, I could see that being a thing. Once you have like a publisher and like you're a public company and you have the money to make physical games, why would you give away free copies of the game?
To be fair, there are a bunch of games that you can buy for both PS3 and Vita at the same time.
That's true, cross-buy, but that's only digital games.
And that's also true.
So, again, I feel like as soon as you have enough money that you have a publisher putting out to give you enough money to make retail copies.
There are a couple like Sony games that actually do give you a digital copy of like the Vita version when you buy the physical PS3 version. That's how I got PlayStation All-Stars.
Actually, you're right, yes, and I have PlayStation All-Stars as well. So that has happened. Seems like Sony's where it's at.
Kind of, yeah.
I would love to see that happen. Here's the crazy thing. Books don't even have that yet. Like, what?
Because they still get money from digital, so they get money from
movies are doing it. Like movies, like I thought books would be like the most no-brainer. You buy the book, you get the code. Like movies are doing it, so I'm so surprised that books haven't even done that.
Movies are doing it because they're charging a premium for like the high definition copy, and that's because you're paying for like both copies, just you're paying less.
You're usually paying a couple dollars more, but they could. Why don't you do that with books?
Because, like I said, digital stores are still making money, so it's all about separate sources of revenue.
Actually, I know there's a collection of books that if you bought the book through Amazon, sometimes they'll give you a digital version of it. They will also do that all the time for music. Like if you purchase a CD on Amazon, they will give you a download of it like right away, so you can listen to it while waiting for your CD in the mail. Which that's definitely cool. I would love to see that happen. I know. I guess answering his first questions, you prefer physical copies, it seems.
Yeah, but that's just because mainly I'm a collector. So. And to be honest, earlier what crossed my mind too. What's going to happen when, say, like the Xbox 360 goes down? What's going to happen to all those games?
Yeah, who knows? The way I'm looking at it, I'm probably not going to be playing those games.
To be fair, yeah, but I mean,
what if you can always play them offline, like the original Xbox?
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about playing them offline. I'm worried about like, say, you wanted to buy like some, like you heard, like yeah, I went back and played like this retro game on my Xbox 360 I downloaded. It was really good, and then you can't get it anymore because the online services are gone.
Right.
Like, what's going to happen to that market? Like Steam. What do you mean?
Like I'm thinking of like all the like Midway games. Like there are games you can just not download anymore. They're no longer on that marketplace.
Yeah, well that's because of the licensing issue. I'm saying.
Well, it's the same thing. If they stop the servers, you can't get them. I'm saying it's the same thing.
I guess.
So, I feel like I guess I'm just thinking how many people are honestly like in a position where they're like, you know what? I really wish there was an Xbox 360 version of Mortal Kombat from Midway. Like, who is that person still there? I doubt it.
No, I'm just saying like it's mainly I guess more so from a collector's standpoint, being able to access that stuff.
Right. But then from the collector standpoint, you're literally talking to an audience who only wants to buy things because like they're old now.
Or maybe from a more like useful standpoint, what happens if the servers go down and my hard drive on my Xbox breaks and I have to replace it? I can't re-download all my games. Then that means all those games I had were lost.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know how that one would work. I have no idea.
That's what I'm thinking when the Xbox 60 and PS3 servers finally do go away. It's going to be a very interesting thing for digital rights management.
Yeah, I guess for me, I just don't care because when that eventually happens, there's no way I have even thought about those games in years. Like, for the most part, any of those, like except for exclusives, otherwise that thing probably exists on Steam. Like I'm trying to think of from that generation, what's like my favorite game? Burnout Paradise. I have that on Steam.
I guess it's more of it's a niche question, but it's a question nonetheless.
Yeah, no, for sure. I kind of like both. If it's handheld though, digital all the way. I want that thing to be as portable as possible. I don't want to carry cartridges around. I just want my system. So if it's on the 3DS, I always download digital. A lot of the times though, I get the games mailed to me and they're physical, so I go with that. But that's my 2 cents on that. And I believe we have one question on Facebook. And by one question, I meant one person sent in 6 questions on Facebook.
Yeah.
Fruit Puncher writes in, what are your thoughts on The Undertaker losing at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar?
I knew it was going to happen eventually. I just can't believe it was Brock Lesnar.
I have no idea about wrestling. I'm surprised you had an opinion.
Because I used to watch wrestling a lot when I was a kid.
There you go. Great. 2, thoughts on Ultimate Warrior passing away?
Really bummed out about that, especially considering he was physically at WrestleMania a day, and then Raw, I believe, a day before he died. So he looked perfectly fine up until the day before he died. Then he died.
Question 3 is about Smash Bros. We already talked about that.
Okay.
Question 4 is about the new PAX, which we also talked about. Question 5, any TRG moments at PAX East you mind revealing to us, John? I don't know, was there like a cool story from behind the scenes or anything?
Not really, I guess. I'm thinking about it right now. The thing with PAX is that we rarely see each other, except for like
the panel?
When we leave and at the panel, yeah, and when we do the tournament.
Aren't you guys like always hanging out not streaming, but recording stuff?
Yeah, but we do the recordings now like at our places. So like I'll go to I'm gonna go to Emil's place next month.
Oh, so you don't do that at the conventions?
No, the only thing we do at the conventions now is the tournament, which was usually only takes a couple hours. But the reason we do that is because we get guests in. So.
Okay. No cool stories. Number 6. Have you guys been seeing complaints about Samus Aran, about how she looks in the new Smash game?
Yeah, I've been seeing some of that.
I have not. What's the issue?
Couple complaints, mainly that they've made her look even more, I guess for lack of a better term, feminine. They upped her cup size, and they added those rocket high heels. So basically now she's going
rocket high heels.
Yeah, she's going into battle basically wearing high heels, as like a lot of people are commenting on. They're making,
Hey, Bayonetta did it, and she kicked ass.
That's true.
So
because you're being sexualized does not mean you can't be a strong fighter, but I can see why people are freaking out. I think Nintendo being the target of that is strange, though. Of all the companies you pick, it's Nintendo. When there are much, I guess, but I mean there are much worse people you could be putting your ire of like sexualization of female characters to.
Oh yeah, no, that's for sure. So
especially considering the only really sexualized from the company itself character that Nintendo has would be Samus, and even then, 90% of the time she's in power armor.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's still kind of weird if there's like a noticeable like, wait, you did make her breasts bigger. Why? What purpose did this serve besides appealing to creepy guys? Like, I can't think of a good reason why you would do that.
It's true, I guess. But here's the thing.
It's one thing if she came out and her cup size was always huge, like, but the fact that it's like, no, we had her this way. She's designed to be this non-sexy character, and it's just, let's make her like extra sexy now. It's like, what? Why?
The thing is, I think what might have led to it this time around is the fact that the Namco Bandai guys are helping work on it, the Tekken team. If you look at Samus, she kind of looks like one of their characters, Nina Williams. So I think that might be why that happened.
I feel like Nintendo is a strict enough company that they could be like, put her back, what are you doing?
Maybe, but I feel like they might also not have cared.
I feel like Nintendo cares when it comes to sexuality, considering all their other games are like the most friendly things, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's like a, hey, we know this will help sell more units. You guys are going to buy it anyway.
Maybe, I guess, right? But like
every person complaining, every person who is invested enough in this game to complain about that has already have this thing like pre-ordered twice.
Here's the thing too. You're not going to notice it in the game, presumably, because you'll be busy fighting. But like if they do weird stuff like, all right, before the match starts, it's going to zoom in on Samus. She's going to like slide her hands up along her body before she gets in like a fight mode. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on at this point? But if it's just like, oh, they upped her models, and the only time you'll see it is if you pause the game, it's like, I get why people are upset about it, but like I said, there are worse companies to get upset about than Nintendo.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's a touchy subject, is the best way to put it. My opinion does not
touchy,
reflect...
I see what you did there.
Oh my god,
nice.
Really. It was not on purpose. It was not on purpose. Sean, what the fuck are you doing? End the show.
Yeah, no, I guess we're done. Except, people, remember, you want to send in questions, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com. It's through Twitter, @TDP Podcast. It's on the Facebook group. Just search Top Down Perspective. Help us beat the gauntlet podcasts of the iTunes by reviewing and rating us there. That would help out quite a bit. John, what was your game of the last kind of 2.5 weeks? 1.5, 2 weeks.
Donkey Kong Country 3D.
Oh yeah, you played that on the plane. That was your plane trip?
Yeah, and on the plane ride back, it was Pokemon Battle Troise and Crosswords, and I'll talk about
the new one or the old one?
Troise, the new Troise. We'll talk about it next week.
Okay, perfect. My game of the week was Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Remember, kids, go and check it out.
Remember to check up on all your dogs. Make sure that they haven't gotten divorced.
Yeah, that is a special game. I think we need to vote with our money and tell Nintendo we want more special games like this. Also, check out that trailer for Tomodachi Life. That's going to do it for the show. We'll be back next week. Should be all three of us, finally. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. See you guys
Hopefully.
later.
See you guys then.